I'm sure you've been to a restaurant at some point and had some super memorable chicken. You take one bite out of it and you just wonder how they did that. Today, I'm gonna show you how to do it, step by step by step. And I'm also gonna show you how to make a much easier home-cooked chicken. But the real question today is all in the title of this video. Are restaurant chickens really that much better than homemade ones? Well, today you find out. Now let's go! Now the first thing a restaurant would do is brine their chicken. Brining just means leaving it in a salt solution. Usually 10% salt solution is what most restaurants would do. And it makes your chicken so much more forgiving, meaning if you overcook it a little bit, it's still gonna be super tender and juicy. And not just that, it's all the aromatics we're gonna be putting into this brine. All that flavor permeates the meat. So it's flavor and tenderness, really. All right, for your brine chicken, we're gonna take half the amount of water, which is what we'll bring to a boil with all these ingredients. And then we'll add the other half in ice so we can use the brine right away. I'll list that all out clearly in the description. That's Italian parsley going in, some fresh thyme, lemons, whole bulb of garlic cut in half, peppercorns, kosher salt, and honey. Now we'll just bring this all to a boil. It's that easy. Now, once that's all come to a rolling boil like this, or should I say rolling ball, just kill the heat and just pour it directly over the ice and give it a good stir. And this should all equalize here. The ice is almost melted already. So you could make a brine and then let the whole thing cool down, but that takes a really long time, hours. This is just a shortcut so you can use it immediately. Now, all we need to do is pop our chicken in here. Yeah, make sure he's really under there. Awesome. If it's popping out a little bit, you can put a couple side plates on top to weigh it down, but this is fine. Now, I don't have a lid for this container for some reason. As it happens, a little gnome came. So I'm just gonna wrap it like this. Now we'll just go ahead and pop it in this stupid fridge. You guys know this thing still works, right? I don't know how. I keep trying to finish it off. The thing is indestructible. So after exactly 12 hours of brining, just remove your chicken from the brine and set it on a rack-lined sheet pan. The next thing you need to do is just pat it really dry with some paper towels. There's no need to rinse it off. If for some reason you forgot about it and you did overbrine it, you could try soaking it in cold water for 1 hour to extract some of that salt. Also, on a side note here, there's no reason you can't get one more use out of this brine. You just pulled that chicken out of the brine. Say you want to do some wings, you want to do some thighs for fried chicken, you want to do some breasts for schnitzel. That's still good stuff, so keep that in mind. The second thing a restaurant would do is air dry that chicken. Now, I should say a good restaurant will do, because not all restaurants are doing this, that's for sure. So after it comes out of that brine, it's wet, right? Just came out of water. And if you were to roast it right away, the skin would not get crispy and it would brown really unevenly. So air drying is a process of removing all that moisture from the skin so it'll get perfectly crispy and brown. It's a bit of a process, but if you want to make a really high level chicken, air drying is key. So this needs to go in the stupid fridge here, uncovered, right? It needs to be uncovered. And so we'll just place that in. And you know, some restaurants will do this for up to 3 days even. I'm not gonna do that. I'm probably gonna do 24 hours, maybe a little more, but it really depends how that chicken skin is looking. So I'll keep you updated periodically and I'll show you what it looks like as it begins to dry out. And I'll know when it's ready by the way it looks. Bon voyage, little chicken. Now here's our bird after 24 hours. And we're gonna do another full day on this actually, because I am not quite happy with the drying. I think you can see here, it's pretty obvious where it's dried and where it's not. When you touch this skin, it's totally dry to the touch. It feels like skin. And all these little spots right here, where it's all white, is where it's still drying out. So if I were to put the bird in the oven right now, it would not have a nice, even, crispy skin, which is the whole point of doing this. So we're going for another day, my friends, 48 hours if necessary, because we need the whole bird to look just like this. Now, the third thing a restaurant would do is remove the wishbone. That little wishbone you break in half with your friends or family. Well, it happens to be sitting in the worst part of the breast for slicing out that breast in one even piece. So by removing the wishbone, you make the slicing process so graceful, so easy. Now let's remove this wishbone from the bird. And I'm actually doing this after 24 hours of the air drying process. You could definitely do this right when it comes out of the brine. I'm only doing it now because when the bird comes out of the brine, it's really wet and slippery. And this is just gonna be easier to work with, but either way we'll be fine. Now, so that wishbone is in here and it's got this shape just like that, right? Boom, boom. And so when you try to cut the chicken, and so just as I explained, when you try to slice off the breast and the wishbone is in there, when you go to slice down right here, your knife is gonna catch the wishbone and it's gonna make it really hard to slice. That's why restaurants remove the wishbone. So I'm just first gonna feel in here with my finger. I can feel where it is exactly right here. And first I'm gonna slice on the inside of it on both sides. Now I'm gonna run my knife down the other side of the wishbone. Just these little V cuts here. You can already feel it coming loose here. You can see I have one side of it out right here. Work on the other side. There's your two bones of the wishbone right here and here. Now we just need to work our way around the top of it. Just be really careful you don't pierce the skin of the bird. That's one little piece out. There. Didn't get it all out in one piece, but getting that wishbone out is the key for slicing your chicken effortlessly once it's cooked. Now the fourth thing a restaurant would do is truss the chicken. If I'm an untrussed chicken, I'm spread out like this, right? So I might not cook evenly, but when I'm trussed, everything is compacted together. So by the time the legs and the thighs are done, the breast will be perfectly done at the same time. Whereas with an untrussed chicken, by the time those thighs and legs are done, the breast is usually a little bit overcooked. Not the end of the world, but this is what a good restaurant would do. Now to truss the chicken, just some butcher's twine. Might be better to do this right after brining. Actually, it's just a little slippery, but I'm doing it here after the first 24 hours of air drying. And all we do is take the middle of our string and go under this little Pope's nose, as they call it, down here, over the legs here, and then just cross the strings. And then we're gonna go back onto the legs. A little bit of a figure 8 motion there. Pull the strings and that will close up the legs. Hold that tight. Now the string just goes around the legs and grabs the wings as well at the same time. Now we can flip it up, and all we need to do now is wrap around where they cut the head. So this little neck part here, and then I can just simply tie it right here at the top. Nice and tight. And now we'll just tie a knot here at the top. Forgot my Boy Scout slip knot, but that would probably be best. But that's all good, and boom, there is your trussed chicken. Nice little tight package. And so when your chicken is all bundled together like this, it's all compact, right? It's one solid mass instead of being spread out like our home-cooked chicken, and that should help the whole bird cook evenly. All right, my friends, here is our air-dried chicken. And as you can see, it's still drying out. I've given this a full 48 hours now. And so here's one of the problems with doing this at home. You see at restaurants, they have huge walk-in coolers with big fans blowing air around if it's a good cooler. And that air circulation they have will dry out their chicken so much faster. At home in your fridge, you're not having that kind of air circulation, so it's just gonna take longer. Now, I could give this thing another day, but for God's sake, we're just gonna cook it now. The skin might be a tiny bit uneven, but it'll still be amazing. Now, the fifth thing a restaurant would do, and this is a simple one, is simply to put some aromatics inside the bird. Meaning, in my case, I'm just gonna put a little shallot, garlic, and thyme. That's gonna perfume the bird from the inside out and just add a little more flavor. And our aromatics we're gonna put in right now, just to add that little bit of extra flavor. And when you're stuffing a chicken, you never wanna just stuff it full. The air needs to circulate from the inside as well, so just loosely in there. Now, the sixth thing a restaurant would do with their roast chickens, and this one is debatable, is to baste their chickens a few times while roasting them. This just helps the chicken stay nice and moist and hopefully get a little better color on your skin. So I'm actually gonna put my restaurant chicken into a pan here so we can get to that step 6 of basting a little bit during the cooking process. Now for our restaurant chicken, I'm gonna brush it with some clarified butter. Should help that skin get a little crisp. And we are gonna put a little bit of salt on this chicken, and that's just for the skin. That little bit of crunchy skin with salt is incredible. So just brush it everywhere. Now I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of my famous rosemary salt. If you know, you know. You could also just use regular salt. This is a homemade seasoning we make here on this channel with rosemary, sage, garlic, and a little bit of lemon zest. And let me tell you, it is delicious. But we're not doing a lot here, just a tiny little sprinkle for that skin all around on the wing. Now, before roasting your chicken, whether you're doing the restaurant or the home-cooked version, you don't want to put a chicken right out of the fridge straight into the oven. You definitely want to temper it first. This is so it will cook A, faster, and B, evenly. For our home-cooked chicken, we are not going to do any of that. Thank God, right? But if you can, when you're choosing a chicken, try to find one that says air chilled. And hopefully, if they're not lying, you'll still get a nice crispy skin, but it probably won't stay crispy like the restaurant chicken. It'll stay crispy for like 5-10 minutes and then it'll lose it. That's what I've noticed anyway. And this one says air chilled for a juicier taste. This is the first time I realized juicy was a taste. Juicy's a texture, not a taste. That's kind of funny. Now for our home cooked chicken here, so easy, right? I mean, I love a chicken like this, honestly. I'm just showing you guys how to do it both ways, but all we do is dry it off really well, inside too. And same deal, I'm just gonna brush with clarified butter. Obviously, if you don't have clarified butter, just use some neutral oil, like avocado oil is one I love. Any kind of neutral neutral oil will do though. And this is a little bit for the skin, but also so the seasoning will stick, right? We want to brush that everywhere on the thighs, the legs, the wings, the armpits. Now you could put aromatics in here too if you want, but this is the easy version, so I'm not doing any of that. And with this same thing, I'll take my rosemary salt and first just season inside the bird quite a bit. Now with this one, we can put quite a bit more salt, right? Because it's not brine. When I'm doing this, I always like to flip and get that leg, right? Like that, and just be thorough and get that salt everywhere. Easy as can be. Now with both these chickens, we're gonna follow the same kind of roasting technique, so that part is the same, which is starting them hot and then turning the heat down. So we're gonna start at 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and after about 15 or 20 minutes, we're gonna turn the heat down to 375 to finish the cooking process. I'll pull these at 165 internal, although that's another video because honestly, I would be comfortable pulling them quite a bit less. But because this is for the internet, I don't want anyone to get sick and get in some kind of legal trouble. Don't sue me, please. I don't want to get sued. So just pull them at 165, that's fine. It's a debatable topic. Okay, my oven's nice and preheated, and away they go. Okay, here we are after about 25 minutes, and we're starting to get some color on our chickens. We still need a lot more, obviously. The other one looks about the same. I'm just gonna baste it a little now, as advertised. And these will continue to brown even at that lower heat of 375. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down now. It's also that I have a home oven and I have 2 chickens in there, so it created a lot of steam and less dry heat, which is why they're not browning as fast as I would like, but that's all right. We're gonna go ahead and turn this down, 375, and finish the cooking process. All right, it's been about 35 minutes at this point. Starting to get some really nice color on this. It will continue to brown. I'm gonna go ahead and keep basting it here. Oh man, I can't tell you how freaking good this one smells. The home-cooked chicken looks great too. Feeling good, I just wanted to show you that. All right, we can see here after about 45 minutes, it's really starting to look beautiful now. And we'll give this one more final baste. Oh, I'm in heaven. These are probably about 10 minutes from being done. It was about 150 inside last time I checked. Let's finish it off. Now here is your finger looking good brine chicken as well as that home-cooked chicken. Both took about 55 minutes total cook time. If you cut into this bird right away, all those meat juices are going to immediately flow out and they should be in your mouth, not on the cutting board. I won't get into this today, but if you want to make an incredible pan sauce, definitely save all these little brown bits on your sheet pans and saute pan. Okay, now appearance-wise, we have the brine chicken here on the left, home-cooked chicken here on the right. You know, they both look great, although I would say the brine chicken has like a deeper brown kind of color to it, whereas the home-cooked chicken has a bit more of a golden brown color. They are very close in appearance, but I would give the slight edge to the brine chicken on that one. Let's give it the old smell test. I'll start with the home-cooked. It's just got that nice roasted chicken flavor. Smells amazing. Smelling the restaurant version now. There's just a lot more going on with the smell on this one. You can definitely smell all those aromatics that were in the brine. It's got a more complex aromatic smell mixed with roasted chicken. Gonna give the slight edge to the brine one. Now let's do a touch test here. Wow, so there is a notable difference here in just poking these. This one feels harder, like it springs back really fast. This one feels softer to me, more tender. Let's slice them up and compare the breasts and the legs and all that, which will be the texture test. I'm gonna start with the home-cooked chicken. I'm just gonna remove this wing first. Find that joint right there. The wing is always the chef's treat. If you roast a chicken, you get to eat the wing. If you're nice, you can give the other one away. Now the wishbone is in here, so when I slice in, it catches the knife right down there, right? And so I can't get a really nice even slice because the wishbone is right there. You can see that? So instead of being able to slice down and then out, I have to lose a little breast. No big deal, you can pick it off later, but that's why we removed the wishbone on the brine chicken. Let's finish taking this out. There we go, there's our nice breast removed. Now let's do the brine. And the first thing you wanna do here, obviously, is just to take off your twine you use when you truss the chicken. I don't trust no chickens. I'll do the same thing, remove this wing first. Just makes the breast a little bit easier to get out. Now let's find that middle bone or cartilage and just guide really close to it. And then we just turn the little corner here, no wishbone in the way. Cut here, and that just comes out so easily. One nice juicy breast. Okay, now let's start here with the home-cooked breast. Just slice into it here. As you can see, it looks nice, looks like good chicken. Pretty darn tender, as you can see. Now let's slice into the brine chicken and compare. I don't know if you can see that, but you can really see the juice glistening off of this one. It definitely feels more tender, but we're gonna have to taste it to really find out. Okay, I'm gonna start here with the home-cooked chicken, and I'm taking a piece from the thickest part so we know just how juicy it can be. Look, if you're new around here, when we make amazing food, the fridge gets attacked. There it is. As you can see, I've done all my work on it, and I'm about to do a little more. Elbow! Oh! That's what I know. That's what I make most of the time. It's a delicious chicken breast with the rosemary salt. Now, let's try the brine chicken. Oh, okay. There's a big noticeable difference here. I have to try the home-cooked one again after that. There's definitely more chewing required with the home-cooked chicken. You almost get that, like, smacky thing going on in your mouth. How do I explain that? You know what I mean? When chicken's a little bit dry. And so with this brine chicken, it's just incredibly easy to chew. Like, it just breaks apart in your mouth really easily. You don't get any of that dryness going on. It's got the same texture as a chicken breast, but with just way more moisture just staying inside of the meat, if that makes sense. I'm definitely giving the point for texture to the restaurant chicken. Now, as far as taste goes, this one's got a beautiful roasted chicken flavor. It's delicious. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But with that brine chicken, you get the complexity of flavors from the brine, from all those aromatics, peppercorn, garlic, lemon, herbs. You taste all of that inside the chicken, and it's really wonderful. So I'm definitely giving the taste point to the brine chicken as well. Now here I have the home-cooked chicken leg and thigh and the restaurant-style brine chicken leg and thigh. Let's just quickly taste these to see if we find any differences. Trying the home-cooked chicken leg first. See, with the home-cooked chicken, I feel like the legs and thighs are always better than the breast. Well, just in general, if you know what I mean. Dark meat, but this is definitely more tender than the breast on the home-cooked chicken. It's delicious. Now let's try some of this thigh. Oh, best part of the chicken. Best part! This is by far the most tender part of the home-cooked chicken, by far. It's really, really good. In fact, I'm wondering how good this can possibly be now because that was extremely tender. Brine chicken, restaurant chicken leg. Here we go. Okay, this is very interesting, my friends. Things are starting to heat up. I prefer the home-cooked chicken leg to that brine chicken leg. Possibly because this leg is kind of sticking out on its own. The brine definitely had more time to penetrate the leg, giving it that more cured texture like ham or something. But the flavor on this is still better. That's very interesting. Texture wins on the home-cooked leg, flavor wins on the restaurant leg. Let's try the thigh. This looks incredibly juicy. I'm just gonna bite into it. Again, incredible flavor from the brine, but I can't believe I'm saying this, I prefer the home-cooked thigh again. Whoa! This restaurant thigh is less brine than the leg, but it still has a little bit of that texture that I don't like when things kind of brine too much. Oh my gosh. Well, what do you know? Now, there is one more category to judge upon that just cannot be ignored, and that is workload. Seeing as how this brine chicken took 12 hours of brining, 48 hours of air drying, plus the roasting time, plus 12, 60, roasting an hour, plus the brine, 61 hours and 15 minutes. That's a long time to wait for a chicken, right? On workload, obviously the home-cooked chicken wins. In conclusion, for everyday use, most people have busy lives and obviously the home-cooked chicken is gonna be the choice. But I know you've learned more than a few tips in this video, so you can try putting some aromatics in your home-cooked chicken. You can easily truss your home-cooked chicken. That takes 1 minute. You just need some butcher's twine. You can even baste your home-cooked chicken, just put it in a saute pan. Let me know if you'd be interested in another video where I try to elevate a home-cooked chicken without all the extra brining and work. I might try to find a way to do it where it doesn't take so long, but we still get some of the benefits from the professional version. Although there is no ignoring the taste, the texture, the flavors, the appearance of that brine chicken. Certainly is restaurant quality. That's something you can have up your sleeve, and if you have some time, you can really impress somebody with that chicken, especially the breasts on that thing. Wow. Well, my friends, I hope you learned something today. Thank you for hanging out with me. Still here watching the video, you are a true cooking champion. Remember to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment if you so wish, and turn on the notifications if you want to be a psycho. And until next time, my sweet friends, you know I love you and I'm out!